This week on Marketplace Middle East, a gloomy future from OPEC's latest oil outlook. From importer to exporter, Jordan's ambitions to move away from oil and to go nuclear. Plus,
we have theologians as women in Turkey, so why not designers? There's no ban on women not being equal or something. Women are equal in Islam.
Istanbul skyline gets a woman's touch. The interior designer bringing contemporary chic to Turkey's newest place of worship. Leaders at this week's G8 meeting called for measures to curb the volatility in the energy market and agreed that $70 to $80 a barrel was a fair price for both producers and consumers. This week witnessed a roller coaster ride in oil. Prices dipped below $62, their lowest point this month. That's down about 15% from this year's peak. Just 2 weeks ago, crude prices were above $73 a barrel. Now, nagging concerns about the global economy and grim data from the U.S. have investors questioning the pace of recovery. OPEC says the weak economy will continue to dampen demand for oil, and that will keep prices lower in the near term. But the lower prices will discourage investment in future production and eventually reduce supplies. Medium term, demand will pick up as populations expand in developing countries.
Demographic trends are extremely important when projecting energy needs in the future. Clearly, world population is going to increase substantially by around 1.6 billion persons by 2030, mostly in developing countries. About 85 million additional persons per year, almost 80 are in developing countries. But there are also uncertainties related to evolution of these demographic patterns, which also create additional uncertainties as far as demand for energy is increased.
Jordan is a major oil importer, with crude accounting for around 10% of the country's total imports. But the kingdom is looking to reduce its dependence on oil and become a regional energy exporter. Shams Al-Wazir takes a look at Jordan's alternative energy option.
Beneath the blazing Arabian sun, power lines span the horizon of the Jordanian desert. This grid lies at the heart of Jordan's most crucial and economically strategic decision. The Hashemite Kingdom plans to join the Nuclear Energy Club. Khalid Touqan heads Jordan's Atomic Energy Commission.
Over the next 2 decades, we'll be in a position to export energy through the regional electric grid network, which is currently connected to Egypt, Syria, and the Palestinian Authority.
An ambitious goal for a country that currently imports a staggering 95% of its energy, costing almost a quarter of its GDP. The kingdom currently plans to build at least 2 nuclear power plants in southern Jordan that will be operated as public-private partnerships. The key to the country's wealth lies beneath the desert.
We're in the central Jordanian desert, and for security reasons, this is as close as we can come with our camera to the uranium fields, which are behind me over there. This is the largest field in Jordan, and it's said that under the sand there's 70,000 tons of what's called reasonably assured reserves of uranium. In addition to that, though, there's about 100,000 tons blended with phosphate.
Commercial agreements for uranium exploration and prospecting have been signed with mining giants Areva, Rio Tinto, and China's Sino-Uranium. Mining of uranium and processing of blended phosphate would create thousands of jobs and potentially tons of exportable nuclear materials.
Jordan is expected to be a producer of yellow cake and a provider of yellow cake into the international markets within 4 years.
It's estimated each plant could inject up to $500 million a year into the economy. Jordan has already signed nuclear cooperation agreements with China, France, South Korea, and Canada, and is close to signing with Russia and the UK. It's still negotiating with other countries, including the United States and Japan. But not everyone agrees that Jordan is ready to join the nuclear club.
My question is this environmentally sustainable?
Fadi Sharaiha heads the Royal Marine Conservation Society and is a member of the plant's site selection committee.
We need to decide our identity from an economical point of view. Are we tourist country? Are we producing country?
He believes the project needs further study, especially in a country where solar energy might be a better option. Plus, he says, the water needed for the plant will be hard to come by in an arid country like Jordan.
We need to invest in the renewable energy factor, especially now with the technologies becoming cheaper.
Toukan says they're pursuing parallel tracks.
Jordan is not just putting all its stakes on nuclear energy. It is pursuing an energy mix.
He expects the share of renewable energy, mostly solar and wind, to increase to 10% by the year 2020. The total share of local energy sources is expected to reach 40% in the next 2 decades. Toukan says rather than depleting the kingdom's increasingly scarce water resources, the plants will help ease Jordan's water woes.
It's a dual advantage for Jordan, where electricity will be produced at affordable prices, and also it will provide for energy needed for water desalination and water pumping.
Those hopes still remain a ways in the future. Construction is to begin in 2 years, but the first reactor isn't expected to be operational until 2017. Shams al-Wazir for Marketplace Middle East, Amman, Jordan.
Up next, from nightclubs to sacred sites, a day in the life of Turkey's first female mosque designer.